Hey everyone, I have a challenge this month. This challenge is about Fedora. And the first thing that really caught my attention when I had to go and choose a distribution supported by Fedora was what type of distribution I'm gonna go with. Am I going to go with a normal type of distribution, or am I going to test an immutable operating system? So you know me, I had to go with the immutable because I was really curious about it. You know, I had ton of questions. Would I be able to game on it? Can I actually install Nvidia driver? Can I install my favorite application? What are the limitations? How does this work? Well, guess what? I'm gonna answer all these questions in this video. Let's get into it. Like always, let's start with a little bit of context. We are almost in November, and we went out from the Ubuntu challenge, which I totally failed, and now I'm going into the Fedora challenge. Fedora is going to release Fedora 39, and the idea was to try it for 1 month and see what I could do with it. So when you look at the plethora of distributions that Fedora is able to push, it's actually insane. But there was one which was really interesting me. It's the one which is immutable. So I know I'm gonna have a little bit of work for my pronunciation of this word, immutable. So what does it mean? It means that your operating system is gonna be like an image that Fedora push on your hard drive. And this image, this operating system, is gonna be the same for everyone. And you're gonna have a really limited potential action towards it, which means you're gonna have a more secure and stable operating system overall. So I always have been curious for this type of approach because, as you might know, the Steam Deck, which is the reason why I kind of switched to Linux 2 years ago, use an immutable operating system based on Arch. So I'm like, what? Why? Simply why? And I kind of understand how interesting it could be for any manufacturer outside to provide this type of operating system. The idea behind it is the user itself is gonna have a really hard time to break it. And also in terms of security, it gives you a big advantage because the amount of modification that the user or any type of software is going to be able to execute on the operating system itself is going to be super limited. So when you think about it as a user like us, would it change something? And this is the big curiosity I was about to discover after installing it. So now you understand the concept. What about the experience? I did install it, and you're gonna see after because I'm actually running it right now. We are on it. Spoiler alert, it has been working pretty good, but I want to go through the whole experience, all right? So if you want to go immutable with Fedora, you're gonna have plenty of choice. The first one is Silverblue, is based on GNOME. The second one is based on KDE Plasma. It's called Kinoite. I hope I'm pronouncing this one well. You have another one called Syriza, based on Sway. And the last one is based on Budgie, and the name is Onyx. So I went with KDE because I'm a big fan of it. And also, I had some issue with GNOME and Ubuntu, but let's not talk about it again. But KDE for me, it's where it's at. And it was pretty easy to install. In my experience for installing the whole operating system was exactly the same as if you install a basic Fedora. You won't see the difference. The first thing you're gonna notice though is when you boot it, you're gonna have different options, and you're gonna see you just boot from an image with a date. It's not the same approach, I would say, as if you were using a normal version, which is gonna be more based on the kernel version. When I downloaded it, my first approach was to try the 38 version. With the 38, I had a lot of issue. I just could not install the Nvidia driver. I did install them, and we'll get into it after, but it would just not work on my machine for whatever reason. So I jumped to the 39 beta and I downloaded it. So the release of the 39 should be like in the coming days. So I will call it like almost final. But I would say like if you want to try it, avoid the version 38 because it didn't work on my side. Might work for you, but my experience with the 39 was way better. So obviously you want to know if I was able on this version to install Nvidia driver. And guess what? It was pretty easy to install. I had to Google and went to the documentation of Fedora Kinoite. And right off the bat, you have a little paragraph there for using the Nvidia driver. And after copy and pasting those two command lines, I was ready to go. The Nvidia driver were installed on this machine, and I have to say they are working as expected. What you're gonna have to do though is you're gonna have to relearn how to use the package manager here, because as you can see, they use a software like a package manager called RPM-OS3. And it's a little bit different from the actual like package manager DNF from Fedora. So you're gonna have to go through it and understand how to actually execute the different command through this package manager. And there is some way of doing things you're gonna have to relearn. So just to give you an idea, when you install the Nvidia driver, what you do normally, you have to make sure that you blacklist the Nouveau driver, obviously, but also like you load the different like Nvidia mod set, like the module. And normally you do that by editing your file in your /etc folder or whatever file you need to modify there, depending on your distro. Here, you can do that, okay? You're gonna have to do it with those special commands. I'm pretty sure you can do it and modify the etc folder, but I'm not sure if it's gonna work. You're gonna have to use those little commands there. The second thing you're gonna notice, and I'm gonna talk later about it in the video, is that when you install any type of application directly on the OS, I'm not talking about the containerized application, I'm gonna talk about them later. You're gonna notice that you're gonna have to reboot for anything to be applied. And it can be the driver, obviously, you're gonna have to reboot, but let's say you wanna install like Kitty, which I've done, and because you don't wanna install like Kitty through Flatpak, I don't even know if it exists, but I want you to install it on the operating system itself. You will install them, but then you're gonna have to reboot. They have an option called install live or apply live to install them right away and use them, which I try to, but some of those applications, I like to install them hard and have them there. And yes, like you're gonna have to reboot all the time. It's just a different approach. And you will also notice that installing application is super slow, like super slow. The other thing I learned while using this distribution was the fact that Fedora Kinoite, and I guess all the immutable like operating system from Fedora, they don't support DKMS, which means you won't be able to load the module the way you do normally, like at least like the way I do normally. And it kind of show you the limitation of the distribution. Let's say you want to have a custom kernel and load your driver through the DKMS module. Well, it's not going to happen. Something to know along the line, but I'm going to be talking about it after. So now you know the installation went well, and I was able to install the driver without any issue. I'm going to talk about a little bit about the way you install application through this type of operating system. So as I mentioned, because everything is containerized, you're going to have to install things a little bit different. The first thing is like, I mentioned it's the RPM-OS3, which is a hybrid image package system. It combines libOS3 and libDNF to provide atomic and safe upgrade with local RPM package layering. So this, talked about it. I think it's a little bit slow, but it's okay. Then you have the second approach, which is like Flatpak. If you don't know what Flatpak is, like I really encourage you to go and learn about them. Those are pretty sweet. I'm not a fan of them, but This is a second way to install packages on this type of distribution. And I had no issue using them. It's pretty transparent. And I have to say, like installing Flatpak there or another, like, you know, like non-immutable distribution, you wouldn't see the difference. So this was definitively a plus. And then you have the toolbox for development, which is like literally like creating container within your operating system. And this, I didn't have to use it because for my usage, it was not required at all. I was able to install whatever I wanted right off the bat. I didn't push it too far, but I made some testing with some specific application, let's say like Kitty, and I was able to install them via RPM OS3. The packages were available, and I had no issue like at all. When it comes to other application, I went most of the time with Flatpak, and as you can see, Flatpak is really well incorporated within Discover. And if I want to install, for example, Telegram here, it's right away there, available from FlatHub. So everything is transparent. Everything works on this approach. Now, the next question I had was like, because the system image is like super like locked, I've already thought that I would not be able to customize my little desktop. And look at it. Everything is actually working really well. I was able to apply my Dracula theme. And man, it was super, like straight to the point. It worked really, really well. So kudos to them. Instead of installing the package in hard, you just go through the KDE interface and you install whatever you need. Kudos to them. Dracula, no problem at all. So this was good. Like this was really nice. Now the other question you certainly are thinking about is like, can you game on this distro? And the answer is actually yes. Obviously, we're gonna have limitations there because I did load like Wayland, but you still have the choice to go back to X11. X11, I had some issue, so I couldn't run it properly as I wanted, but maybe it's just limited to my case. If you guys tried it, did you have any type of, different experience on X11? But for me, it didn't work properly, so I had to use Wayland. And Wayland, as you can see here, like I had no problem running games. Everything was fine. I tried Valheim and it was okay, like for a Wayland session. Was it really great? No. Obviously, because I don't like to play on Wayland within the East state right now. I think it's not the best experience, but yes, you can play. And Steam, I installed it through Flatpak, so you get the idea. You can install Lutris, you can install everything. It's gonna work. And I think this is pretty dope, to be fair. I think it is pretty dope. So now, here is the thing. Do I recommend this distribution? And man, I would say like I can't recommend it. Because I've been saying a lot of like positive things there. And I was really thinking about doing the whole challenge for 1 month running on this baby. Going immutable and trying to push it to the limit. But the problem is like after 2 days, even less, like after, like I would say like 7 hours of use, I understood like it was not for me. This is not for me, at least in this state. And I'm going to explain you why. So yes, the distro is super stable. If you do something crazy, which I think you can't even do something crazy, but let's say it happens, you can just roll back to the previous image. Okay, so for example here, if I show you real quick, you have an image here. Okay, this is the image of today, but on my hard drive, I have the previous image from, I don't know, 2 or 3 days ago. So if this one burned for whatever reason, I can just roll back, which is super, super fun. And super, I would say, like, accessible because it makes it fun because I won't have to, debug anything. I just come back and I'm like, okay, until they fix it, it's good. But you get the idea, right? I'm in a place where the image is like so stuck that I can't do or tinker the way I want to do it. I mentioned that I was not able to make X11 run as I wanted, and there is nothing I can do about it. It just works or it doesn't work. You see, if I run any other distro, I can put my hand under the hood and start to be like, okay, this is okay, this is not okay, like what, like I can play with the operating system itself, but then I just can't. If I want to upgrade my kernel, it's like one command and I'm there. Here, I can't. I want to change the version of my driver. I can't because it's part of the image. And I don't even know how I can choose a version of my driver, to be honest. It's certainly possible, but I didn't see any information towards that. I think the way it works is like they're going to give you the latest like stable driver, and that's all. So the level of tinkering under the hood is not high enough for me. Okay, like it's just too frustrating. The other issue I had, and this is again like personal, maybe some of you guys are going to be super happy about it. The other issue was related to the upgrade and the update in general. You have access to all the update, and when you update, let's say your Flatpak, no problem, you press the button, it upgrades everything. But when it comes to upgrade the image itself, it's so slow. I don't know how it works behind like the scene. I have no idea. But I'm telling you, like, this is a pain. The upgrade are a pain. If you don't upgrade your system, like every day, and you just let it go like that, and once a month you're gonna go there and press upgrade because you're happy about everything, which is fair. Like, I'm not judging you. It should be all right. But me, I upgrade every 6 hours because I come from Arch and I like to have everything up to date. I know it's stupid, but it's just not for me. Okay. Would I, recommend it for gaming? I would say no again. Because gaming, in my opinion, like, you need the latest driver, you need the latest kernel to really take advantage of it. There is some big update you might miss. So right now we are in a phase that, you're running a 6.5.6 and maybe, like you're going to move to a 6.6 with EEVDF already included, and you're going to have everything working out of the bat. No problem, right? But we might be, like in the future in a session where your image is going to be a little bit behind and you're going to be in a situation where you won't be able to take advantage of your material because you don't have the latest drivers, the latest kernel, and everything. And this, again, it's not something I would recommend. Can you use it on a daily basis? Of course. But you won't have, the latest bleeding edge that, for me, are just required. Now, do I like the concept? I love it. I love it because you can see that you're going to have an extra like stability out of it. You're going to be in a place where it's going to be really hard to break your system. And the way I see it for the future, instead of having like, a Kinoite version for KDE or a Silverblue for GNOME or whatever, you could have a Fedora Linux, let's call it like Gamer Pro, where all the packages included in this immutable OS could be optimized for gaming. And you see where I'm going there. You get it? Like, it would be just awesome. Because you could be in a place where you have an operating system that the user can't break, but you could use as a gaming platform with all the latest features. That will be awesome. They still need a little bit of work toward like, the package management and everything else. But man, that would be really, really cool. Like, that would be like the end game for me. That would be the future of Linux. Because now, like, nobody will be able to break it and be like, oh, like For example, like Linus from Linus Tech Tips, when he broke Pop! OS and he was like, oh, it's all the fault of the operating system. Well, guess what? You can't have that here. And also, you're going to have a super, super secure operating system because none of the application will be able to interfere with it. That's definitively the future. But for me, it's not there yet. And yeah, I hope this video helped you like to gather some information out of it. I'm gonna be doing this challenge with the basic Fedora, not this one. I think it's gonna be too hard on me too. Again, like I don't want to go through the pain I had with Ubuntu, and yeah, it's just not for me as it is right now. And yeah, I think I covered everything, guys. So please, if you like the video, don't forget to give a thumb up. And yeah, my next video is gonna be about Fedora 39 and how it went for the installation and everything, I guess. Thanks for watching again. Thanks for all the subscribers. Thanks for all the members of Patreon and YouTube who are helping me financially. Guys, you are the best. Let's see in another one, like what we can do with this Fedora. See you. Take care, guys.